What's going on, people? Wanted to do a video on a few alts. I had a request to look at a few alts, and they actually some of them I was going to do a video anyway, so this kind of works out. But starting off looking at XRP, looking at the daily. Just to backtrack, back in November, you had that. Well, back in it was November. You had that massive impulse. Got to the highs of 83, around 83 cents. Then you made a descending triangle. You had the news of the lawsuit, and you had a massive sell-off. You had a smaller rally, higher low, and ever since then you just continue to make higher lows on a daily. So that looks pretty good. It looks pretty bullish. Um, I drew this symmetric triangle. If you can break it, but you're like right at it, you put it up against it, you could go on a nice run. If you ever break 69 cents, which is the next like major resistance, looking back to the weekly, looking back, there's like on a daily you have that peak, but also looking at the weekly, it's not really evident on the weekly. The next resistance on the weekly is really around 87 cents. Let's go back to the daily and scroll back. Scroll back. Yeah, you have this peak here on 69 cents. If you could break it, 70 cents basically, you could be testing, this next peak around, I think it's around like 95 cents. But the measured move of this triangle is around 132, 133. So if Bitcoin could just stay sideways, it doesn't matter, like violently sell off. This will be actually good for these alts and for XRP. And I know with alts you always have to look at not just the USD price, but you got to look at the BTC pair. I know a lot of people that I see chart don't really check these pairs, but this is really, I don't even know I have this here. I don't think I've looked at this chart in a long time, but a lot of people that I see charting don't pay attention to these pairs, and just looking at this, just maybe this is a double bottom, maybe. Could it be like a harmonic pattern if you exclude this wick? But this wick is a crazy scan wick. But yeah, I just see a slight edge right now, maybe a bullish edge with XRP. As long as Bitcoin, like I said, doesn't massively sell off, if Bitcoin, violently sells off, none of these also are going to perform pretty well. A lot of them are going to give back their gains. Just looking at price history, the price history of the BTC pair, you could see why we wicked. We never closed above this area. You want to close above 1545 to really get a bullish run in XRP. But even if we go back up and test that, maybe that measure move starts to play out. But that's what I'm seeing with XRP. It looks pretty good, honestly. But if I were to take a long, go back to the Binance chart. The low risk long, was down in these areas. So what I like to do when I miss these type of areas, I scroll away and I go to like the 15-minute chart and see if there's any pattern developing, there's any advantage, and you can see it right off the back. getting like a symmetric triangle. Yeah, so you're getting consolidation right at your resistance. So if, you know, I might look at this for a long, if you come back and test this, or even taking a long here and putting in a stop loss, you know, below this consolidation, that would be your lowest risk to try to, you know, catch a long for XRP. Another asset I want to look at was Kin. I remember doing a video, it had to be over a month ago by now. And the price was way, way down from here. This is the FTX. Let me look at the, and I just had it. Look at the hit BTC. I remember, had to be like the end of January maybe. It was, yeah, end of January, early February. I was saying, I was, you know, what I saw was a, you know, massive cup and handle pattern, and you had the cup, and I think I did a video when you were in the handle. It was like, you know, in this range, in this area. So if you know, if you got into this asset, then you're already up over 500, you know, 5x. So, you know, I said, you know, if we broke out the handle, this could really start to move. I know I've been checking up on this project. Is one of the few projects I keep a check on fundamentally. They have like a fusion pool on Radium now. And it's given good like APY. I do have some, you know, tokens over there farming on that fusion farm. But, you know, to look at Kin, I was also using CoinTrader Pro, because you don't have a lot of this data with any other chart on TradingView. And I put up some like, you know, resistant levels. And you can clearly see that we have broken above a lot of these levels that I plotted. I know right now you're really overbought. You look at the RSI on the daily, you know, you're at, well, this is a 3-day, but even on a 3-day, you're at 78. So on the daily is probably way higher. Well, it's not way higher, but it's at 82. I mean, you could continue to run up. You know, there's a lot of good news right now coming out for Kin, but on a BTC, you have a gap. So you're probably going to fill that gap on this exchange. So, you know, at some point when this, you know, the momentum is lost, you will probably fill this gap and consolidate, which is, you know, pretty normal. But, you know, I have my targets back to the all-time high. It still looks good technically. You just right now just overbought. I mean, if you miss this, you know, it kind of sucks, but I still see a lot more upside as long as Bitcoin, you know, doesn't violently roll over, which, you know, the video I shared yesterday, unfortunately, there's a, you know, argument that could possibly happen. But right now, you know, Kin is already at 5x. I will be taking some profit off the table, but probably not much, honestly, for right now, because, you know, I can just roll the, you know, all my tokens into that farm. I really have nothing more to add. I can look at the BTC pair. And I'm going to change log. And yeah, the BTC pair also has, you know, a gap. Again, I looked at, you know, the history of this asset and just plotted, probably there was probably resistance or a peak or something on the daily here. But maybe I was just, yeah, probably these was using as resistance. Really, the next resistance is not till 579 Satoshis. So, I mean, this really technically could keep running. You really want to fill that gap on a daily before, like, you know, another 36% before you hit resistance. I mean, maybe you fill the gap and then run. Getting over this resistance would be extremely bullish, because if you get above it and you start consolidating, there's really nothing there until, you know, 1253 Satoshi. So you're talking about another, you know, 3x. If, you know, you can get above this resistance. Ken, like I said, was, to me, was a, like a, I was calling it the new Doge. But, you know, seriously, it just looked like a low risk, high reward, you know, play. So, you know, that's Ken. Another one that there was requesting, those two I was going to look at anyway, was XDC. I have no idea what this coin is. Guess it's only trading on Bitfinex. I was looking at it a little bit. You know, looking at it. Let's see. Kind of a little deep. Maybe a harmonic pattern is developing. You will have to come out to like the 786 or the 886. But, you know, regardless of that, I'll do an update on this. Looking at, you know, potential harmonic in the future. But what I was looking at, because I just noticed that looking, you know, zooming out more, I was looking at, it's you kind of like, you know, you're selling off, you're not really, it's not looking as bad, but there's really there's no advantage right now as far as like taking along. I know it's severely oversold RSI on the 4 hour. Maybe just get it, you know, a reaction, you know, a relief rally, and then sell off, and then you get some type of, you know, bullish divergence like on a 4 hour. I mean, looking at the daily, you had, you know, RSI bearish divergence, and then you sold off. If you can ever pivot, usually when you get like, there's potential like hidden bullish divergence, but what you would need is like on a 4 hour, you know, bullish divergence, for advantage to take along. But there's really nothing here right now. You could continue to sell off with that 4 hour so oversold on RSI, when I would expect a rally at some point soon. Look at the 1 hour. Maybe you have bullish divergence on this time scale, and then not even on, not the MACD. You're having a little RSI bullish divergence on the 1 hour. So maybe that would be your rally. You get back to, you know, from being oversold on the, you know, RSI on the 4 hour, and then you come back down and make a lower low, and then that'll probably be your advantage. And then combined with the daily potential hidden MACD bullish divergence, that would be, you know, a potential long. But you also gotta, like I said, keep in mind what Bitcoin is doing right now, and just looking at BTC right now real quick. Bitstamp. Really just moving sideways for the most part. I believe there's hidden bearish divergence on a 1 hour MACD, and there is, you're getting you know, take it from there. Getting a lower high from here, but more positive momentum on the MACD. Not on your RSI, but there's no advantage right now to long Bitcoin. So you got to keep that in mind with these alt plays. If Bitcoin really does, if it breaks this level, you can see that we continue to bounce, off of like 53,000. If you break 53,000, probably coming back down to like 5150. 51,500. Sorry. Back in this, because this zone where it consolidated, made that inverse head and shoulders. You're probably going to test this area. There's just no advantage right now, on Bitcoin. So you got to keep that in mind with alts. But that's what I'm seeing with, a few alts. I just want to look at one more. Another one I was really big on was Wax. And I got in this, down here. It was like 4.5 cents. And I was saying, how the chart looked, pretty decent. It was like a low risk, high reward type of setup. And I mean, at its peak, it was up like 6 or 7x for like 4.5. Yeah, like 640%. And I mean, right now it's still, it's a 3 day, still like, getting back into from being overbought on the RSI. Your MACD is like extremely elevated. This is like when you have, moves like this. Just hide this real quick. Yeah, moves like this, you're going to need that consolidation, that sell off, consolidate, make another, continuation pattern, bullish reversal pattern to the upside. So, there's no advantage to long here, I don't believe. Again, as long as you stay above almost like 6 cents, and you can continue to make, negative momentum on the MACD, on the daily for Wax. And long as you stay above 6 cents, you make some type of pattern in the future, you could, be setting up for more upside. Just looking at this right now, kind of looks like, unfortunately, it looks like a descending triangle. Yeah, a little off. Descending triangle, or symmetric triangle, more like a descending triangle to me. So you could, if you could back test that area, could back test like, like 10, 11 cents. I have taken everything I put in. My original investment I already took out. So I'm just, playing with house money at this point with Wax. It still looks good long term so far, but right now, potential more, sell off, probably back test around like 10 cents. We'll see how the market looks, at that point. But you could be taking, if you haven't took profit already, could just take profit. You're still up like 4 or 5x since I made a video, stating, the advantage for Wax. But that's just some of the coins I've been looking at or I hold, and some requests. If you have any more like requests, you can put it in the comments. That's what I see so far. Hopefully, like I said last video, I'm wrong about Bitcoin, even though I don't think I'm going to be, and it pivots and runs up. But Until next time, peace.